Hello and welcome to day 4 of the St Mary's A Countdown to Christmas, where today we're going to be continuing with looking at a prophecy from Isaiah. And Isaiah says in this prophecy that God is going to be doing something new. Now why? What was the point in God doing something new? A God who should be all powerful, all clever, all the smartest person in the world. Why would God need to do something new? It's pretty simple. It's because of us humans. We humans seem to muck up, do wrong and sin all the time. And God tries his hardest to keep us on the right path. You can see throughout the whole of the Bible the many times that God has tried to keep humans from not committing sin. At first, he provided Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with everything they would have needed and told them not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But what happens? Eve doesn't trust God. She doubts and then leads Adam to doubt as well. And sin from that moment enters the world through the decisions that humans made. Later on, we see that God tries to bring his people Israel out of slavery in Egypt. And he's quite reasonable. And he presents Moses 2 stone tablets with 10 simple rules. I think weren't so simple now these days. And by following those 10 rules, those 10 commandments, they would have kept on this righteous and not sinful life. But they don't. And we know from the Bible in Exodus that as soon as Moses comes down from the mountain, they are worshipping this false idol, this golden calf, and once again they have sinned. God goes out throughout the whole of the Old Testament trying to bring his people back to him. He tries plan B, he tries plan C, he even tries plan D. But he thinks about, you know what, I'm going to do plan A. I am going to do something new. I am going to send my son Jesus. And that is exactly what he does. Jesus comes to earth, and we're going to find out for the rest of the series about why is it so important that Jesus had to come to earth to help us and give us a great example. Look at it this way. There's a great Christian author called Tom Wright, and he devises a 5-act theory of the Bible. I've already mentioned about Act 1, about being creation, how God creates his perfect world. Act 2 is the sin and the fall and the bad choices that Adam and Eve made. Act 3 is all about the kingdom of Israel forming, with the people of like Moses and David, and then you've got all the prophets. Act 4 is when we see this Jesus coming to earth and giving us an example. And then he goes off a little bit and he tells us about the end of Act 5. And this end of Act 5 is this joyous new heaven and new earth creation that we read at the end of Revelation. And then he goes back a bit. He goes back to the beginning of Act 5, and this is with us today. We know what the end is. We know what our mission is, the mission that God has given us. God has given us the mission to make disciples on the earth by giving and showing them the example of Jesus. So I'm challenging you guys now. God said he was trying a new thing, but what new thing are you doing today to bring in that new heaven and new earth to our world, to your life, and to everyone you see around you?